Hi there, and welcome to Ageless Mind and Body, a space where we talk openly, honestly, and without judgment about the things that truly matter as we grow older. I'm Dr. John Miller, and I've been working in women's health and sexual wellness for over 20 years. Throughout my career, I've had the privilege of walking alongside so many amazing women, and one thing I've learned is that age doesn't make the questions go away. In fact, sometimes the older we get, the more we realize there's still so much no one ever talked to us about. That's why I started this channel, to have real conversations about sex, love, health, and emotional well-being, especially for those of us in midlife and beyond. You deserve to feel good, to feel confident, and most importantly, to feel like yourself. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been quietly searched online by countless women, maybe even by you. It's something that sounds a little awkward at first, but let's be honest, it's a real question that deserves a real answer. Is swallowing semen harmful? Now, if you just raised an eyebrow, you're not alone. But stick with me, because we're going to unpack this together. No shame, no embarrassment, just facts, empathy, and support. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's talk about the things no one ever taught us, but that we deserve to understand. Let's be real for a moment. This topic matters more than most people realize. I've talked with so many women over the years, and one thing I hear again and again is this quiet discomfort, this lingering unease around sex and intimacy. It's not that they don't care or don't love their partners. It's that deep down, there's often this pressure, a subtle but heavy feeling that they need to go along with something just to keep the peace or avoid being seen as cold, difficult, or not loving enough. And when it comes to things like swallowing during oral sex, that discomfort can run even deeper. Many women have told me they've done it not because they wanted to, but because they felt like they had to, like it was expected. Some have gone years, even decades, carrying this weight silently, never saying a word, not even to their closest friends. They push through, telling themselves it's no big deal, or that it's just part of being a good wife. But what's left unspoken can build up over time. That quiet act of ignoring your own discomfort, it chips away at confidence, at self-worth, at emotional connection. And I believe we have to start talking about it. Not to stir up drama, not to assign blame, but to give space for honesty, for real conversations, and for women, especially in midlife, to realize they're not alone. You deserve to feel heard, you deserve to feel respected, and you absolutely deserve a sex life that honors your comfort just as much as anyone else's. That's why we're here today, not just to answer a question, but to open a door that's long been closed for too many women for far too long. So let's break this down in a simple, no-pressure kind of way. When we talk about semen, a lot of people instantly get tense or uncomfortable. But the truth is, it's just a part of the human body, nothing more, nothing less. Semen is mostly made up of water. Yep, just regular water. Only a small percentage of it is actually sperm. The rest is a mix of other natural ingredients, like protein fructose, which is a type of sugar, zinc, vitamin C, some enzymes, and a few hormones like oxytocin and serotonin. All of these sound fancy, but they're basically the same kinds of things you'll find in a balanced diet or in your body already. It's not dangerous or toxic, that's an important thing to know, but it's also not some kind of superfood or magical cure-all either. There are a lot of rumors out there that can make it sound like semen is packed with powerful nutrients that can boost your beauty, improve your mood, or even help you sleep better. While there may be some truth in the ingredients being good for your body in theory, the actual amounts in semen are incredibly tiny. Your body isn't going to absorb a meaningful amount of anything just from that, and even more importantly, the exact makeup of semen isn't the same for everyone. It can change from person to person, depending on their health, their diet, how much sleep they're getting, whether they smoke or drink, whether they have any medical conditions. Basically, it's not one size fits all. Just like how your own body chemistry can shift day by day, so can theirs. So if you've ever wondered what's really in semen, or whether it's safe or good for you, the honest answer is that it's natural, it's not harmful in most healthy cases, but it's also not some miracle wellness supplement. It's just another part of the body, and like anything else, understanding what it is helps you make choices that feel right for you. No shame, no fear, just clear info so you can decide what works best for your body and your comfort. Now, even though semen is a natural fluid and usually not harmful by itself, there's something really important we need to talk about, and that's the potential health risks that sometimes get overlooked. See, semen can carry sexually transmitted infections even when everything on the outside seems completely normal. A man may look and feel totally healthy, but that doesn't mean he's not carrying something like HIV, HPV, gonorrhea, syphilis, or hepatitis B. Some of these infections don't show symptoms for months or even years, and many men honestly don't even know they're infected. That's why the idea of "he seems fine, so I must be safe" can be really misleading. I'll never forget a story shared with me by one of my patients, a 57-year-old woman who had been married for decades. She had only ever been with her husband, and she truly believed they were in a monogamous relationship. But during a routine checkup, she tested positive for HPV. She was shocked, confused, and devastated. It turned out her husband had been unfaithful. At some point, she never got the full story, but the emotional pain of betrayal hit her even harder than the diagnosis itself. It wasn't just about the virus. It was about trust, shame, confusion, and this overwhelming feeling of how could this happen to me? And the sad truth is her case is not that uncommon. The reason I share this with her full permission, of course, is not to scare anyone, but to remind us that protecting your health is never something to feel embarrassed about. Asking questions, setting boundaries, and getting tested doesn't mean you don't trust your partner. It means you care enough to protect both of you. So, while swallowing semen might not be dangerous in itself, it's never 100% safe unless you're both sure of your sexual health. It's okay to ask. It's okay to get tested together. And it's absolutely okay to say, "Hey, I just want to be sure we're both healthy before we do this." That's not weakness. That's strength. That's self-respect. And that's love that includes care, honesty, and safety. Let's clear up one of the most common misunderstandings I've heard over the years, and trust me, you're not alone if this thought has ever crossed your mind. I've had women, some even in their 40s or 50s, quietly ask me during appointments, "Doctor, is it possible to get pregnant from swallowing semen?" And I get it. Sex education hasn't always been clear. And there are so many myths floating around out there that sometimes it's hard to know what's true and what's not. So let's make it simple. No, swallowing semen cannot get you pregnant. Not ever. Not in any situation. Here's why. When semen enters your mouth, it goes straight down into your stomach, not your reproductive system. And your stomach is full of acid that breaks everything down, including sperm. There's no magical pathway from your mouth to your uterus, and there's absolutely no chance the sperm will somehow find its way to an egg that way. For pregnancy to happen, sperm has to be deposited inside the vagina, and it needs to travel through the cervix to meet an egg during ovulation. That process is specific and very much tied to the female reproductive tract, and none of that happens in your digestive system. So if you've ever worried or wondered about this, you can take a deep breath and let that fear go. You're not going to get pregnant through oral sex, even if ejaculation happens. I know it might sound like a silly concern to some people, but honestly, it's not silly at all. When no one gives you clear answers, it's natural to fill in the blanks with what you've heard from friends or seen online. That's exactly why we're having this conversation, so we can replace fear and confusion with real grounded information. Because when you understand your body, you make choices with confidence instead of uncertainty. And that's what you deserve, not just answers, but peace of mind. So no, you can't get pregnant from swallowing. Let's put that myth to rest once and for all. All right, now let's talk about one of the more surprising things people ask: is swallowing semen actually good for your health? You might have heard whispers about it here and there, or seen bold claims online saying it can help you sleep better, boost your mood, make your skin glow, or even help you live longer. Sounds wild, right? And while I totally get the curiosity, the truth is a lot more down to earth. Yes, it's true that semen contains some interesting things, like serotonin and oxytocin, which are known as feel-good hormones, and melatonin, which plays a role in sleep. But here's the catch. The amount of those hormones in semen is super small, like tiny, nowhere near enough to make a real impact on your brain or your sleep cycle. Your body just doesn't absorb those hormones through your stomach in a way that would actually make you feel a noticeable difference. So, while the science behind those hormones is real, the effect from swallowing semen just isn't strong enough to call it a cure for anything like depression or insomnia. And what about nutrition? It's true that semen has trace amounts of zinc and protein, both of which are great for your health in general. But again, the key word here is trace. The actual amount is so little that it's about the same as what you'd find in a spoonful of yogurt, or even less. So if you're hoping to get your daily nutrients that way, it's just not going to cut it. You'd be much better off having a balanced meal with veggies, lean protein, and a glass of water. Then there's the whole idea that semen can improve your skin or make your hair shinier. Honestly, there's zero solid scientific evidence to back that up. Sure, it has protein and a few minerals, but your skin and hair get their nourishment from what you eat and how well you take care of your body, not from what you swallow in a few seconds. Slathering it on your face or taking it in orally won't do what a good night's sleep and proper skincare routine can. Lastly, there's this buzz around something called spermidine, a compound found in semen that's been shown in some mouse studies to slow aging. That sounds exciting at first, but again, it's important to note that those studies were done on mice, not humans, and the amount of spermidine in semen is way too low to expect any kind of anti-aging benefit. So bottom line, while semen does contain a few naturally occurring substances that have some health value in theory, the amounts are just too small to make any real difference. It's okay to be curious, and it's even okay to laugh a little about these myths, but let's keep our facts straight. If you're looking to boost your mood, improve your sleep, or take better care of your skin, there are far better and tastier ways to do it than counting on semen. Just saying. Now let's talk about something that often doesn't get enough attention, how all of this can make a woman feel on the inside. Beyond the physical stuff, there's an emotional layer that can be just as real, if not more. I've met so many women who've told me that after being pressured into doing something they weren't comfortable with, like swallowing during sex, they didn't just feel awkward, they felt deeply sad, even ashamed. Some said they felt used, others said they felt like they had to shut off a part of themselves just to get through it. And it's heartbreaking because intimacy is supposed to be about connection, not emotional sacrifice. It's supposed to feel safe, mutual, and loving, not like a performance you're doing out of guilt or fear of upsetting someone. The truth is, consent isn't just about saying yes or no to sex itself. It's about feeling okay with how things happen. It's about feeling heard and respected, especially in the small moments. If your heart isn't in it, if you're feeling forced or uneasy, then it's absolutely okay to pause and speak up. You don't owe anyone a part of your body that your mind and heart aren't on board with. Love, real love, doesn't push pressure or guilt you into anything. It listens, it respects, and it makes space for both people to feel good, not just one. So if you've ever felt that emotional weight afterward, please know you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not wrong for feeling that way. Your comfort matters. Your voice matters. And in any healthy relationship, emotional well-being should always come first. At the heart of all this is something really simple but so important, the idea of boundaries. In any healthy relationship, especially as we get older and wiser, respecting each other's boundaries isn't just a nice thing to do, it's essential. Sex should always be mutual. It's not just about bodies coming together, it's about hearts' emotions and trust lining up too. When both people feel safe and respected, that's when intimacy really means something. But when one person is doing something just because they're scared to say no, or they feel guilty, or they're trying to avoid a fight that's not true connection, that's emotional strain, and over time it chips away at self-worth and the closeness in the relationship. I've seen women who have stayed quiet for years, thinking they had to go along with things they didn't like just to keep the peace. And while they were smiling on the outside, inside, they were feeling smaller and more disconnected every day. That's not what love is meant to be. True love isn't about pushing someone into silence or submission. It's about paying attention, listening when your partner says something feels off, and being okay with hearing no. When both people feel free to speak honestly and set boundaries, that's when real trust grows. And let me just say this, it's never too late to start having those honest conversations. Whether you've been with someone for 2 years or 30, your voice still matters. Your comfort still matters. You're allowed to ask for what you need, and you're allowed to step back from what doesn't feel right. That's not being selfish, that's being healthy. At the end of the day, love should feel like home safe, warm, and full of understanding. And you deserve nothing less than that. If you do choose to have oral sex, and again, that choice is completely yours, then let's talk about how to keep things as safe and comfortable as possible. The first and most important thing is to stay on top of your sexual health. If you or your partner have ever had other sexual partners in the past, it's a good idea to get tested regularly. And no, getting tested isn't a sign of mistrust. It's a sign of care. It's about looking out for each other and making sure that both of you are safe. Many infections like HPV or herpes or even HIV can be present without any visible symptoms, so testing gives peace of mind and helps avoid unnecessary risks. Next, let's talk about protection. And yes, there are options even for oral sex. Flavored condoms and dental dams exist for exactly this reason. They help reduce the chance of passing on infections and can actually make the experience more comfortable for both of you. You don't have to go without protection just because it's not traditional sex. If it helps you feel safer and more relaxed, it's worth considering. Hygiene also plays a role. After oral sex, it's a good idea to rinse your mouth gently with warm salt water, nothing too strong or harsh. Try to avoid brushing your teeth right away, since the mouth's lining is more sensitive at that time, and tiny cuts from brushing could open the door to infections. And here's something I can't say enough, even if you're married, even if you've been with someone for decades, you still have the right to say no. If something doesn't feel right, if it makes you uncomfortable or uneasy, that's enough. You don't need to explain or justify your feelings. Your body is yours, and your comfort matters. Sex in any form should be something both people want, not something one person goes along with just to keep the peace. So if you choose to engage in oral sex, do it with awareness, care, and respect for yourself and for your partner. That's what real intimacy is built on. At the end of the day, health isn't just about your body, it's also about your heart, your mind, and how you feel about yourself. Emotional well-being and self-respect are just as important as blood pressure or cholesterol. And when it comes to intimacy, those things matter even more. Sex should never feel like a burden. It should never be something you do out of fear, pressure, or obligation. When there's no consent, no care, and no honest communication, it stops being an act of love and starts becoming something that quietly drains your spirit. You deserve better than that. You deserve a relationship where you can be fully yourself, where your voice is heard and your comfort is valued. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's healthy. It's how we protect the love we have for ourselves so we can offer real mutual love to others. This conversation today isn't about shame or judgment. It's about offering clarity, compassion, and support, especially for those of us navigating the later chapters of life where the questions don't go away, but sometimes get harder to ask. My hope is that you walk away from this feeling a little more informed, a little more seen, and a lot more empowered to care for yourself in every way that matters. If this video spoke to you, or if you know someone who might need to hear these words, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to the channel Ageless Mind and Body. It helps us keep these honest, meaningful conversations going, and it lets you know when more supportive content is coming your way. Until next time, take care of your heart, your health, and most importantly, yourself. You're worth it.